Welcome to the Town Board of the Town of Ossining regular meeting for November 12th, 2019. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Meyer.
Present.
Councilmember Shaw.
Present.
Councilmember Feldman.
Present.
Supervisor Levenberg.
Here I am. Okay, so tonight we are reopening the public hearing on changes to the town code as it relates to dog licenses and the administration of the dog parks at Cedar Lane and Ryder Parks. We had been waiting on feedback and updates from the villages of Ossining and Briarcliff Manor. Last week, the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees voted to turn over the administration of dog licenses to the town, as has been the practice for nearly a decade, but was never officially codified. Tonight, we just received feedback from the Village of Briarcliff, which we would like to process and to respond to, and hopefully all come to an agreement. With that said, is there anyone here to address the board tonight on this local law? Going once, going twice. Okay. And so in that case, I'd like a motion to adjourn the public hearing till
November 26th is
November-
our next legislative session.
November 26th, which is our next legislative session. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so moving right along, before we continue with our meeting, we are going to have a special presentation this evening in memory of Mario Conti, a court officer and constable in our town court who tragically and suddenly passed away last year. Mario was a dedicated employee and member of our community, serving 33 years in the Ossining Auxiliary Police and as an active member of the Ossining Hose Company in our volunteer fire department. His death truly left a void in the Ossining community. The staff of the town court had approached us about installing a plaque here at the courthouse in memory of Mario. I'd like to turn over to Ossining Police Lieutenant Damiano right now to say a few words about Mario and this memorial plaque, and then we're all going to head out into the hall to unveil this.
Thank you. When I was asked to say a few words before the ceremony, my first thought was, how can I address this room where everyone in it has some crazy, ridiculous story involving Mario? So I decided to tell you something maybe you didn't know. Mario didn't work for the town court for the money. That doesn't mean he didn't constantly complain about the pay or how he didn't receive a minimum call-in. I can remember him arguing with Ann about how much money he lost just coming to work for the court. But he never said no, and truthfully, he would have probably worked for free. He loved everything about the court. He loved the court girls and Sarath. He loved his fellow court officers. He told me countless stories of how the judges would argue with the defense attorneys would argue with the prosecutor, and at the end of the day, they would all laugh and maybe go out to lunch together. He always felt that he was a linchpin that held it all together. A few years ago, the village board honored Mario with a proclamation acknowledging his 30 years of continuous service as a sergeant with the Ossining Auxiliary Police. Within that proclamation is stated that May 15th would be Mario Conti Day. For most of us, it's a figurative day, but not for Mario. So when my phone rang on May 15th the following year, and Mario asked, "What are we doing tonight to celebrate?" I had no idea what he was talking about. Then he explained to me that it's Mario Conti Day. I tried to explain to him that it was a metaphor. Like when they give you keys to the city. You don't actually get the keys to the city. But no, he quickly shot back. Then he asked if I had a day. Which of course I do not. So because of that, he won the argument. And at that point, I knew every year we would be celebrating May 15th. He was very proud of that proclamation. I thank the village board for giving him that. So in closing, the day I will remember him most won't be his birthday, won't be the day he passed. It will be May 15th. I'd like to thank the town board, the village board, and most of all of you who donated and pushed to see this memorialized forever for Mario. Thank you.
I just happen to have a proclamation for you for today's your day. Okay, so I think we have. Do we have another microphone? Okay, we're gonna have a little microphone. We're gonna all. Maybe we'll do like a little like wedding procession. We'll just let the town board. We'll walk out first, and then with our officers and lieutenant and chief, we're gonna go back and meet everybody in the back. Is that okay? And we're gonna get some help from our friends in the court. Oh, and our mayor is here. Thank you, Mayor, for coming. I just saw you come in, and I see some other village trustees as well. I think you're going to all be joining us also. Did you want to say a couple words before we do unveil the plaque? Are you sure? Come on up.
We're on a break from budget meetings. I couldn't think of a better reason to join with all of you here today in honor of the horrific service of Mario Conti. We're very pleased to be able to be part of tonight's ceremony. And thank you to Lieutenant for your lovely words. I don't know what we missed. And if there was more than that, it was really nice to hear your perspective. And I'm so delighted that the proclamation giving him a day really meant something. It's very sweet. Thank you.
Okay, and if our court clerks and whoever's coming from the court, M. Lone, I think, is going to do the unveiling of this plaque. We also have a Anne. Hi, Anne. Okay, here you go. You're gonna just say you're gonna unveil the plaque. You could say a couple words too. Put you on the spot. I know you can do it.
Okay. Well, this is the plaque that we designed for our friend Mario, who we miss very much, and help you. This is where he stood every day. So I hope that you like. I hope you like that. You know what we did today for our dear friend who we think about every day. It says, Mario Conti, court officer, in loving memory of our beloved friend who made us all better people and who will always have a special place in our hearts. You are always in our thoughts and forever a part of us. Dedicated November 2019, Town of Ossining Justice Court, for our friend Mario.
And I'm guessing that all of us here had a chance to pay our a tribute to Mario in advance of this when we lost him, but maybe we could just all have a moment of silence when we can take a second or two to think about all that he had added to our community and how much of a loss he really was to this community. Moment of silence. Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks so much for coming and participating, and we know that he's watching from somewhere and sees all the support that he has from this community. Okay, so yeah, if anybody wants to come on back and take a look at the wonderful plaque and all the hard work that went into designing it and really thinking so hard about the words that are so special and the wonderful picture of him, it really is special. This way he will be forever in our hearts and forever in the court. Just also like to recognize that we had all of our judges here tonight. Judge Koba, Judge Reisman, Judge Tuiel, thanks so much for coming and just wandering in. Also, I just see all of the village trustees are here. So again, thank you everybody for coming to pay tribute. Past Chief of Police Burton, thanks so much for coming. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for coming. Thank you for coming. Okay. Oh, you're coming back. Okay. All right.
Hey, he looks way cleaner than you now. Okay.
Goodbye, Adam.
Okay. Because it's itchy.
I might tap out early.
Again, thanks so much to all the friends and family and court staff and our judges and village board, our police officers, auxiliary. Everybody was here tonight. It was really very special. And we're very grateful for Lieutenant Damiano as well as our court staff for coming up with the idea for the plaque and the placement of it right in the front of our court building. So when you enter, he's really the first person to greet you, as I'm sure he was for many, many years. Okay, so before I launch into all of the wonderful things that are happening around our community, I want to recognize a very special organization as well as a special day that is coming up this weekend. Today, I signed a proclamation from the town recognizing this Saturday, November 16th, as Hit a Home Run Against Drugs Day in the town of Ossining. And we just learned how important a day really is. So, Hit a Home Run Against Drugs is an organization founded by Kemi Pogue, an Ossining resident, in memory of her father, Alexander Pogue, who died in 2000 after a battle with cancer. Alexander was dedicated to educating and empowering young people in the community, all with the goal of fostering healthy lifestyles away from the harmful effects of alcohol, tobacco, and illegal drug use and misuse. This Saturday, Mr. Pogue's birthday, we've dedicated as Hit a Home Run Against Drugs Day alongside our colleagues in Westchester County, Peekskill, and the village of Ossining. Kemi is here tonight, so I would like to invite her up to say a few words about this important organization and how they are reaching out as a protective factor in our community to help keep kids away from drugs and illegal and harmful substances. And Kemi, I have a proclamation for you proclaiming November 16th be named Hit a Home Run Against Drugs Day in the town of Ossining in memory of Alexander Pogue on his birthday and in recognition of this organization's laudable goals for our community. Do you want to come on up? Congratulations. Oh, thank you. And congratulations for all the work that you have done in our community for our community. Memory and in honor of, oh, sorry, I thought this microphone was in memory and in honor of your father. Thank you so much for all the work that you've done. And we're very excited to proclaim this day in his honor for your organization. And we know you're going to be doing some great work. And you already have been doing some great work. So please accept this proclamation. And also, if you wanted to say a few words about what this day means to you.
Okay. This is a very special moment for me because my father was a recovered addict when he passed away of cancer. And his motivation and his drive to promote healthy lifestyle choices is what gives me the courage and the dedication every day to promote healthy lifestyles for children throughout Westchester County. I'm excited about what we have done in Ossining. We have a family engagement program at Claremont Elementary School each year. So I want to thank the school district for allowing us to have that there. at Claremont, and I'm very, very excited. I thank you.
Tammy, we're looking forward to participating. And Tom, I'm going to give you back this microphone one more time. All right, gonna get a lot of people still around, so a little loud, but hopefully everybody can hear so we can continue with our agenda. And I'm going to continue with a few more announcements. This past weekend, I had the opportunity to participate in many events that showcase Ossining now and its bright future, starting with a trip to Cornell University in Ithaca on Friday to participate in the Climate Adaptive Design Studio's midterm presentations. As you have been hearing, the town of Ossining and the village of Ossining partnered to apply and were chosen to host the fall 2019 semester of this innovative program as part of Cornell University's Landscape Architecture School in partnership with the New York State's DEC's Hudson River Estuary Program. The students have been working hard at visioning a future for the Ossining waterfront, taking into consideration the devastating effects that climate change will cause along the Hudson River shoreline as a result of climate change, sea level rise, and increased flooding. I was joined by Deputy Supervisor Liz Feldman, as well as Mayor Garrity and Village Manager Karen DeTore, plus a landscape architect who works for New York City Parks. We had the opportunity to see the first phase of designs and to offer our feedback to each of the students. This was certainly a humbling experience to take part in, to really face the significant changes our shoreline will endure. We've learned so much and have been given great tools to work with, and we're going to see those great designs and share them with the entire community on December 16th when we'll see the final presentation of the students' designs at the Ossining Public Library. We will also be videotaping the presentations and posting them on the town and village YouTube pages, as well as on running them on GoTV, so that everyone can have a chance to see what these designs look like. We then will be thinking about those designs. All of us will be thinking about them as part of our comprehensive plans for the village and the town. And we will also be looking to see how we might be able to take more full advantage of the designs, especially the ones that the community seems to like the best, to see if we can get additional grant funding to help flesh out the ones that rise to the top. Of course, there are a lot of pieces of the puzzle that I don't think we're going to be the ones funding, such as how to save the Hudson Line Metro North so that it's not underwater in 20 years, I think it was, Liz?
Or the sewage treatment plant.
Or the sewage treatment plant. There's a lot of things that are likely going to be flooded and not in good shape if we don't start planning for them now. When I returned to Ossining, I tried my best to take full advantage of the many events scheduled around town, from the Hudson River Potters Sale at Bethany to the Pros of Pie at Sing Sing Kill Brewery, the Ossining Arts Council's Day of the Dead exhibit at a Steamer Firehouse, and Project Greenway's Refashion Show down at Scarborough Presbyterian, in which they raise money for IFCA. All of these events highlighted the wealth of creative talent in Ossining. We have so much to be proud of. It was really quite an amazing day, I have to say. The weekend ended with a ceremony honoring all the veterans in our community that have given so much in service to our country at the annual Veterans Day ceremony at Nelson Park, led by Michael G. O'Connor and the group of, say it again? It was the American Legion, but it's all the different groups. Central War Veterans, yes, Central Group of War Veterans, which I'm getting their official name right now because it's late in the day. We must always be grateful for their dedicated service, and I was honored to stand alongside my fellow elected officials and community members to take the time to pause and reflect on the sacrifices all veterans and their families have made for our freedoms. As for some upcoming events, we're very lucky that our state and local elected representatives recognize the importance of addressing climate change head on. Assemblywoman Sandy Galiff will be hosting a community conversation tomorrow, Wednesday, November 13th, at Cortland Town Hall, starting at 7 p.m. Assemblywoman Galiff has lined up an excellent group of speakers with a wealth of information about how we can all do our part to make a difference. Join Bethany Arts Community for their Art is Community's second annual fundraiser on Friday, November 15th at 7 p.m. Enjoy an entertaining evening with great food, cocktails, music, art creators, performance, and numerous silent auction items, including original art. Help support Bethany as they've done such a good job bringing the arts alive for Ossining. Grab your tickets now at bethanyarts.org. On Sunday, November 17th at 2 p.m. at the Ossining Public Library, the 400-Year Project, a county-wide collaborative, the Ossining NAACP, and Historic Hudson Valley are presenting People Not Property, Stories of Slavery in the Colonial North. Led by Michael A. Lord, Director of Content Development at Historic Hudson Valley, this presentation will share the individual stories of enslavement in the colonial North, including those enslaved at Phillipsburg Manor and throughout the Hudson Valley. Although slavery in the North is well documented and researched, its existence and significance to the development of America's commerce and culture continues to be obscured, ignored, or misunderstood. This presentation will hopefully shed some light on these stories, including those that are so significant to the history of our own backyard. I hope you will consider attending. New York State Senator David Carlucci and Assemblywoman Sandy Galiff are hosting their annual senior fair on Thursday, November 19th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Ossining Community Center. This event is always extremely informative for our community seniors and their families, so I encourage you to consider attending. The town of Ossining will be represented by staff from our Receiver of Taxes and Assessor's Office, and of course, our senior nutrition staff will be on hand right down the hall to encourage our seniors to take full advantage of this program. Be sure to stop by and say hi. Galata House has begun collecting donations for its 5th annual Turkeys for Thanksgiving. You can drop off a donated turkey at the St. Anne's Church Rectory between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. or at Deli Bagel in the Arcadian between 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Maybe they'll even take a tofurkey or two this year. Who knows? Galata House will be distributing donated turkeys and also hosting a free Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday, November 24th at St. Anne's School Gym for anyone in need. For more information or to recommend families to invite, please contact Galata House at Galata House, which is GULLOTTA house@gmail.com, or the St. Anne's Rectory at 914-941-2556. Finally, on this very cold, extremely cold day, why not think ahead to the summer concert series? We've opened up the call to performers for the 2020 Summer Concert Series. Visit www.townofossining.com and then navigate to Summer Concert Band Application under Resources, which is in the left-hand column, to throw your hat in the ring for next summer's performances. The deadline for applications is, I believe, December 19th, 15th. It's coming up in the middle of December, so make sure your favorite bands apply. And that's it for my announcements. Any announcements from my colleagues? Okay.
I just wanted to let everyone know that the IFCA thrift shop is now open. People have been stopping me at the supermarket and the gym. It's open. The hours are Tuesday 12 to 5 and Wednesday through Friday 10 to 5.
And I promised I was going to drop some stuff off, and I
There's
forgot.
so many others.
And I forgot, but I'm going to. I have so much stuff. Okay. All right. So anybody else? Announcements? None? Okay. So we are going to move into our departmental reports. Or are there any liaison reports? And hearing none, we have one departmental report from Bill Garrison, who's our recreation superintendent. Please come on up. Hi, Bill.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
How are you?
So we're wrapping up the 2019 and looking ahead to 2020, and we're going to have a big focus on programming coming up in the 2020. We're setting a goal to increase our recreation programming by 10% during each of the seasons. We want to not only just increase the number of programs, but increase the diversity. We have a lot of programs for kids. We need to do more programming for teens and more programs for adults and seniors. So while we're increasing the program, we're going to be looking to add programs for those populations. We're also going to be looking to seek input from the residents in the community about the type of programs they would like to see. So we're going to be doing some questionnaires and some surveys that will be going on online, out via email, and looking for other ways to try to get some feedback from the community about the type of programs that they would like to see us to have going on. We also want to think of programming outside of the community center and also bring programming into the parks. There's a lot of things that we could do more in the parks around programming. We did a little bit of that this year, obviously with the Mind, Body, Spirit. OSNI was a great idea about that, where you bring in the programs into the parks. We also did it at Henry Gordine Park and at Market Square with our summer concert or summer acoustic series and our family entertainment series that was going down at Henry Gordine, but we'd like to expand that into more of the parks. The Recreation Advisory Board is currently working with me on a project that's helping us guide and creating a vision for our parks. We are visiting each of the parks with each of the Recreation Advisory Board members and not going through more than just saying, hey, the grass needs to be cut, or this pothole needs to be filled in, but really thinking more in a bigger scope of things about how can this park be used? Is it being used the right way? What do we need to do? And then kind of creating a list of things that we'd like to see in that park, almost like a wish list. And then I'm compiling all that together, putting together some cost estimates on that. And then we'll come back, and I come back to this board and I can bring you our results. And it's something to help us guide us as we go through the future. Things are always changing. One thing I've talked about here before is pickleball. If you had talked about pickleball 10 years ago, nobody knew what that was. And now it's one of the fastest growing sports in the country. And I probably hear people ask about pickleball every day, when they can have more court time, when is the town or the village going to put pickleball courts out into the parks. It's something to think about. And with tennis is actually a sport that's maybe not so popular as it was 10 to 15 years ago. So we have to kind of think ahead of what's going on in our parks, and the Recreation Advisory Board is doing that. For example, one of the things we came up with Ryder Park, just to give you an example of how we're thinking, is wouldn't it be great to have a pavilion there next to the restrooms, a pavilion where people, one, that could provide some shelter for the parents that are there watching the games, and a passing shower comes through and not everybody has to scramble to their cars. They could gather under the pavilion, but also a place where people could have lunches or picnics, or teams could have cookouts, or if teams are there for a tournament all day long, they could use that pavilion for a picnic lunch. I'm also working with the village manager on creating a special event application and a process for how special events can occur in parks. And this is something that we are going to be working and sharing with the town as well, to hopefully that the procedures and policies are similar, because we're kind of doing the same thing. But what we're looking at is the type of permits that are going to be required, the insurance requirements, is there a hold harmless agreement that's going to be needed? What about the services that the municipality ends up providing? For example, if an event is in a park on a Sunday and there is trash that needs to be picked up by the park staff, is the town or the village going to take on that responsibility, or does that cost get passed on to the organizer? So those are all things that we need to be discussed and worked out as we're moving forward. Hopefully the goal is to get a streamlined process that is clear for everyone. One of the things that I have found in working with people is that when organizers want to do a special event, we're a little bit unclear what they need, so it makes they're even more confused, and it becomes a really frustrating experience for the applicant who's looking to do some sort of event in the park. So the ultimate goal is to have a process that's in a lot of communities where they have like a booklet or an application packet, and everything's listed, what insurance requirements are, what's the dollar amount, what the fees are. So everything's put up, so everybody knows what it is straight up and forward. We have a number of events that are coming up. December 6th is the tree lighting, which is going to be downtown at Market Square. That's from 5:30 to 7:30. We have music by Gimme the Mic, which is from Austin High School, and the Mike Risco Band. The tree lighting will start at 6:30, and Santa and Mrs. Claus will arrive around 6:35 with hot chocolate and cookies. So hopefully we have a beautiful night for that event. Also, keeping with the holiday spirit, we are having the Santa breakfast at the community center. Registration is open for that right now. We have 2 sessions. That's on December 14th. And registration is free for that. And you can go online or you can stop at the community center to register. I know the town parks is busy cleaning up the parks and getting them ready for the winter. We did have quite a few pavilion rentals this year for the town. We had 35 pavilion rentals. I'm not quite sure how that compares to last year because we have our new system and this didn't go online last year, so it's a little bit difficult to extract that information. But the revenue is more than it was last year, so I would think that they go hand in hand. So the number of rentals for that. The group picnic areas at the Lewis Angle waterfront was 28, which was pretty good, I thought. And I think it's an area where we can do a little bit more marketing and letting people know that these opportunities exist. The pavilions are a wonderful place to have a cookout or a family get together, and so are the spots down at the Lewis Angle waterfront. So I think that's one of our goals that we're going to be looking to do in 2020 is just kind of putting it out there and kind of marketing, hey, here's a great opportunity for you. And if everyone has any questions, I can.
No, I'd just like to add that I actually think we're going to be getting in some of the equipment. We talked with, and the Rec Advisory Board had weighed in on some of the new equipment for the playgrounds. We had a broken swing set, and we're replacing that with a new swing set, which has also an accessible or inclusive swing as one of the swings. So kids who might be disabled will be able to use that swing with other kids, so everybody gets to use it. But we also had an opportunity to kind of just rethink about the space, and we've noted that a lot of people use our playground equipment as fitness equipment. So we note that many adults actually take the time to just go down there and do push-ups or pull-ups or whatever on the equipment, and there was enough space for us to fit a piece of or a couple of little pieces of fitness equipment, and we've gotten some requests to do so over the last few years. So it was an opportunity for us, and there was also sort of a bargain basement sale on equipment through one of our playground providers through the say it again. Through their it's through a say it again.
U.S. Communities.
Yeah, I was going to say U.S. Communities. I was trying to think of what that's called, where we can purchase off of a pre-vetted list of
It's a purchasing agreement.
vendors
Yeah.
because we have a purchasing agreement. Like we can purchase off of a bid for sometimes we purchase off of the state bids or the county bids or contracts. This is sort of a pre-vetted low price for a variety of pieces, and so if we find equipment through these, then it makes it a little bit easier for us to get the equipment and at prices that we know are have been already vetted. Besides the fact that we were buying off of this U.S. Communities purchasing agreement, we also it happened that they were also on sale, so we took advantage of that to buy some new pieces of equipment at for 2 of our parks. So some new pieces are going in at Engle Park, where we had this broken swing set and a swing that hadn't been utilized in many years. I think it was like the equivalent of a tire swing. And then also at Buck Johnson Park, where we had some equipment that was not in good shape at all, and we're managing to replace the equipment, the little kids piece of playground equipment, as well as put in a few pieces of fitness equipment. So we're hoping that that's going to be taken full advantage of by the community. And like you said, the Rec Advisory Board will have an opportunity to kind of take a look at that in the broader context. And we're also going to be putting a new piece of equipment. It's called Muga Multi-Use Game area at Gerlach Park, where people will be able to play basketball. What's the soccer called?
Futsal.
Futsal. futsal, and we may even be able to line it for, drumroll please, pickleball. Possibly. We're gonna have to see, but we've been told that it isn't impossible. So if we can find a way to put down the lines for all of these, we just need to work to get that surface paved before we put up the fencing and the other pieces of equipment that go with it. And then if we can put in, I guess, brackets for the nets as well, or the footings for the nets, then we might be able to have that incorporated as well. So we're looking forward to having multi-use gaming area at Gerlach Park, and an underutilized piece of our park. And we believe that again, we know that people are already using our parking lots to play futsal, and not being able to play basketball because our equipment hasn't been up to snuff. So hopefully we'll be able to address a lot of these all through this U.S. Communities purchasing agreement. So I just wanted to add that, and I know you'd had an opportunity to weigh in on all of these pieces, as has the Rec Advisory Board. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that's part of the bigger vision of things, and thinking about the inclusivity of parks. When you put something in where the parking is going to be, is it accessible to people, and then getting creative with the space, and that's a perfect example of what we're looking at.
Yeah, and we actually just also repaved the roads at Ryder last week. So that's going to be great. And we are going to be, instead of putting in these very, very, very difficult speed bumps that are hard for anybody to maneuver in any size vehicle, we're going to be putting in the ones that are removable to make it easier in the winter for our plow trucks to get in there effectively, remove the snow. We've also done a bunch of drainage work at the top to hopefully avoid the slippery conditions that we had in the parking lot up at the top. Our parking lots are going to remain porous with item 4, and we're not planning to pave the parking lots, but we are going to improve the lots with millings and make sure that they're actually serving the purpose that they need. We haven't talked about pavilion out there yet, but that's certainly an interesting idea for the future. And we still do have a little bit more work to do up at the pavilion that we recently fixed up at Ryder, for the play area that's next to it. We did introduce this summer, and we've talked a little bit about the Gaga pit from the Girl Scouts built at, and I know that for the summer camp, it was really, really well utilized. We are looking into figuring out a better surface because all the grass has been
really used.
Decimated. Yes, by all
the grass.
all the playing, which is great because we know that it's been very well utilized. So that it was just a little donation of a piece of a Gaga pit that was so enjoyed. So we hope to make a tiny improvement to make it able to last for a very long time. Any questions for Mr. Garrison?
Thank you.
Suggestions, thoughts, ideas? We'd love to, we're happy that you continue to also to support and promote the programs at Cedar Lane Art Center, because we know that they have been well received for all those people who participate, from young kids who are taking art classes with Kathy Fiella to adults who are taking pottery, and now we have even the ability for people to rent out studio space there as well. So thanks for your partnership there. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. And with that, moving right along, I think we're going to our resolutions. Yes?
Yes, unless anybody has public comment.
Sorry. Is there any public comment on any agenda items? I skipped over that. Sorry. Public comment on any agenda items? None? We're going to board resolutions.
Okay, approval of minutes, regular meeting, October 22nd, 2019. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby approves the October 22nd, 2019 minutes of the regular meeting as presented.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Weren't missing anybody?
Approval of voucher detail report. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated November 12th, 2019 in the amount of $248,745.65.
Do I have a motion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay.
Okay. Calling for a public hearing to 2020 preliminary budget. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, November 26, 2019 at 7:30 p.m. at the Birdsall Fagan Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street, Austining, New York, in the matter of the 2020 preliminary budget for the Town of Austining.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So we submitted our 2020 tentative budget 2 weeks ago, and we're now preparing to refine the details. We've scheduled the public hearings on the budget for our legislative session on Tuesday, November 26th. However, if you are interested in learning more about our proposed budget for 2020, I encourage you to catch, either in person or on TV, Budget Director Maddie Zahach's presentation on the 2020 budget at next Tuesday's work session. All budget materials are available on the town's website, and we are happy to address any of your questions. Just give us a ring. Huge shout out to Maddie and Deputy Comptroller Dale Ferreira for all of their hard work preparing this upcoming year's budget. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Resolution calling for a public hearing on local law number 9 of 2019, reduction of speed limit on North State Road. Whereas the Town of Austining has engaged consultants to study ways in which its main commercial corridor, North State Road, could enhance bikeability and pedestrian safety, and a recommendation of a speed limit reduction from 30 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour was recommended. And whereas a section of the town code exists for this purpose, and the proposed change will be to Article 4, Speed Regulation, subsection 188-7, speed limits. And now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, November 26, 2019 at 7:35 p.m. at the Birdsall Fagan Police Court Facility located at 8688 Spring Street, Austining, New York, 10562 in the matter of local law number 9 of 2019, amendment of Article 4 of the Town Code entitled Speed Regulations in Reduction of Speed Limit on North State Road.
Have a motion.
So moved.
So we've been working with our consultants from Sam Schwartz Engineers to make North State Road more bike friendly. In addition to their recommendations to widen the shoulder to accommodate a dedicated bike lane, the consultants have also recommended that we consider the speed limit from 30 to 25 miles per hour. We feel that this change will make the road safer for cyclists, pedestrians, and cars and trucks. So we're moving forward with the legislative process by scheduling this public hearing for our next discussion. Well, I'm going to say, Councilwoman Feldman is suggesting that we want to look at all our roads and think, is that worthy of a reduction for all of our town roads, except for the ones that are state roads, obviously, all the roads that we have control over. I think it's a great idea, but I think we are going to have to sit down with our chief that and see what makes sense. But I certainly think that, we see that other communities are I was just driving today, I think, in a community where, it was yesterday, actually. It was in Croton, I think yesterday. And I think that they changed a speed limit from 30 to 25. The light was not flashing because I was going the speed limit. So, but for other people, I'm sure it was flashing ahead of me. But yeah, so because it was now 25, I think instead of 30. So I think they recently must have reduce the speed limit on some of their roads. And I think I've heard that some of the other communities are looking to do that as well. So it's certainly something that we should consider. I think right now, before, let's just want to make sure that the signs are up, have, that we can get those ready, and then we can be ready for bike season. And then we can also, I think, look into our other roads as well. I think it's a good suggestion
for many of our neighborhoods.
Yeah, absolutely. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. Appointment of Austining representative to Westcott Board of Directors. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby reappoints Joan E. Whitaker to the position of the Town of Austining representative to the Board of Directors of the Westchester Community Opportunities Program, Westcott, for the 2019-2020 year.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay. Planning Board reappointment. Resolved that the Town Board hereby reappoints Ching-Hua Chin, Austining, to a 5-year term as Planning Board Chair for the Town Planning Board, retroactive to January 1st, 2019, and set to expire on December 31st, 2023.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So 2 members of our volunteer boards are in need of being reappointed. Ching-Hua Chen, the chair of our planning board, and Paul Mazzilli from our Board of Assessment Review. These appointments are retroactive to the end of their previous terms, and we are very grateful for their continued service to the town. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Board of Assessment Review reappointment. Resolved that the town board hereby reappoints Paul Mazzilli Ossining to a 5-year term on the Board of Assessment Review, retroactive to October 1st, 2018, and set to expire on September 30th, 2023.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Unless the board has any objections, I'm going to take over on the next few resolutions
No
for the
objection.
tax
Go for it.
certs. Give Victoria a little bit of a break because it's a
Have
long
your water
agenda.
now, Victoria. Okay.
Yeah. Resolution H, tax certiorari. Whereas proceedings pursuant to Article 7 of the Real Property Tax Law of the States of New York were instituted by 172 Highland Avenue LLC against the town of Ossining, New York, to review the tax assessments made on petitioner's property located at 172 North Highland Avenue, town of Ossining, New York. Whereas the above petitioner has agreed to a compromise and settlement of such proceedings, subject to the approval of the town board, correcting or reducing the assessed valuation of its real property improvements as follows. For the assessment year 2015, reduction of 0, final value, $61,650. For 2016, reduction of 0, final assessed value, $1,033,300. For 2017, reduction of $83,300 for a total of $950,000, and for 2018, a reduction of $75,000 for a total of $950,000. Whereas any and all refunds necessitated by said settlement will be made without interest, and whereas the town board, upon the recommendation of the assessor concurred by council to the town, finds the proposed settlement appropriate and in the best interest of the town of Ossining, now therefore it is resolved that settlement of these proceedings on the terms set forth herein is hereby accepted and approved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, wherein such proceedings are pending. And it is further resolved that council to the town is hereby authorized and directed to procure and execute any documents necessary to effectuate such settlement. And it is further resolved, subject to approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, that the assessor is authorized and directed to make the changes and corrections to the individual unit assessment of the tax assessment roll of the town of Ossining, which will be ordered pursuant to the consent judgment to be entered in accordance with the terms of the settlement, and the receiver of taxes is authorized and directed to process and pay the refund of the town of Ossining's taxes, estimated to be $152.42, which will be ordered pursuant to said consent judgment.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
And I just wanted to read the whereas clauses and the resolved in the first one so that it's, and then we're going to cut it down a little bit more going forward.
All right.
Resolution I, tax certiorari. Whereas proceedings pursuant to Article 7 of the Real Property Tax Law of the State of New York were instituted by Irwin J. Cavey against the town of Ossining, New York, to review the tax assessments made on petitioner's property located at 573 North State Road, town of Ossining, New York. Whereas the above petitioner has agreed to a compromise on settlement of such proceedings, subject to the approval of the town board, correcting and reducing the assessed valuation of its real property improvements as follows. For section 90.11, block 1, lot 44. For 2012, a reduction of $7,055, final assessed value $19,145. For 2013, a reduction of $6,400 for a final assessed value of $19,800. For 2014, a reduction of $7,520 for a final assessed value of $18,680. For 2015, a reduction of $8,610 for a final assessed value of $17,590. And for the years 2016 through 2019, a reduction of $61,200 for a final assessed value of $319,600. And for lot 45, for the years 2012 through 2015, a reduction of $0 for a final assessed value of $1,900. And for 2016 through 2019, a reduction of $0 for a final assessed value of $20,400. Now, therefore, it is resolved that settlement of this proceedings on the terms set forth herein is hereby accepted and approved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County. It is further resolved that the receiver of taxes is authorized and directed to process and pay the refund of the town of Ossining taxes, estimated to be $5,103.35, which will be ordered pursuant to said consent judgment.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
I just want to point out that for anybody following along, why the values changed so much between 2015 and 2016 is because that's when we revalued properties. So those are the non-equalized values from 2012 to 2015. That doesn't have the equalization rate applied to them. It's just what the value is on the books. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolution J, tax certiorari. Whereas proceedings pursuant to Article 7 of the Real Property Tax Law of the State of New York were instituted by DCM Properties LLC against the Town of Austining, New York, to review the tax assessments made on petitioner's property located at 541 North State Road, Town of Austining, New York. Whereas the above petitioner has agreed to a compromise and settlement of such proceedings, subject to the approval of the town board, correcting and reducing the assessed valuation of its real property and improvements as follows. For 2013 through 2015, a reduction of $14,420 for a final assessed value of $57,680. For 2016 and 2017, a reduction of $96,240 for a final assessed value of $866,160. And for 2018, a reduction of $100,770 for a final assessed value of $906,930. Now, therefore, it is resolved that settlement of the proceedings on the terms set forth herein is hereby accepted and approved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County. And be it further resolved that the receiver of taxes is authorized and directed to process and pay the refund of the Town of Austining taxes, estimated to be $8,960.17, which will be ordered pursuant to said consent judgment.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolution K, tax certiorari. Whereas proceedings pursuant to Article 7 of the Real Property Tax Law of the State of New York were instituted by Wells Fargo against the Town of Austining, New York, to review the tax assessments made on petitioner's property located at 176 Croton Avenue, Town of Austining, New York. Whereas the above petitioner has agreed to a compromise and settlement of such proceedings, subject to the approval of the town board, correcting or reducing the assessed valuation of its real property improvements as follows. Parcel 1, Pleasantville Road. For 2014 and 2015, a reduction of $1,610 for a final assessed value of $7,440. For 2016 and 2017, a reduction of $36,450 for a final assessed value of $122,750. And for 2018, a reduction of $42,550 for a final assessed value of $122,750. For parcel 2, 3 Pleasantville Road, for 2014 and 2015, a reduction of $1,290 for a final assessed value of $5,960. For 2016 and 2017, a reduction of $29,030 for a final assessed value of $97,770. And for 2018, a reduction of $34,030 for a final assessed value of $97,770. And for parcel 3, 176 Croton Avenue at Pleasantville Road, for 2014 and 2015, a reduction of $15,500 for a final assessed value of $71,600. For 2016 and 2017, a reduction of $359,120 for a final assessed value of $209,480. And for 2018, a reduction of $433,620 for a final assessed value of $1,209,480. Resolved that settlement of these proceedings on the terms set forth herein is hereby accepted and approved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County. And be it resolved, the receiver of taxes is authorized and directed to process and pay the refund of the Town of Austining taxes, estimated to be $1,305.02, which will be ordered pursuant to said consent judgment.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Just want to give a little shout out to our assessor's office, Assessor Fernando Gonzalez, as well as Jerry Sullivan in the office who prepares all of these, and also to our receiver of taxes, Holly Perlowitz, and also to Christy Donna for preparing the resolutions. It's complicated, but good news is that I believe have seen not too long ago an assessment by our assessor that with our reval, we're really seeing a trend down in the number of tax certs, and in fact what the refunds are, we're much better able to defend the values that we designate for the properties, and it's not as easy to defend against them. So we hope that we are going to continue in that direction, because ultimately it's better for everybody when their assessments are full value and are correct, or at market value. Okay, so with that, did we vote? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay. Resolution adopting local law number 7 of 2019, amendments to chapter 180 of the town code entitled Taxation to implement the solar energy system pilot law of the Town of Austining, New York. Whereas on December 18th, 2018, the Town Board of the Town of Ossining adopted Local Law Number 6 of 2018, amending Chapter 200 of the Town Code, zoning, to regulate the installation and use of solar energy generating systems and equipment, solar development regulations. And whereas the New York Real Property Tax Law, Section 487, provides for an exemption of the value of a solar panel system from local property taxes, the intention of which is the state's efforts to meet its clean energy goals by providing economic incentives for solar systems. And whereas Real Property Tax Law Section 487 also allows taxing jurisdictions to opt out of the tax exemption, making the added value of the solar panel system fully taxable, or alternatively, if the taxing jurisdiction does not opt out of the exemption, the taxing jurisdiction can require a solar developer to pay an annual fee or payment in lieu of taxes as a replacement for the taxes it would have otherwise collected, so long as the pilot does not exceed what the taxes would have been without the exemption. And whereas recognizing that a balance is needed within the town to ensure the property owner pays some taxes while not taking away the incentive to develop solar in our community to remain competitive for development, the town board desires to adopt a local law to implement a formulaic jurisdiction-wide pilot agreement process with solar developers and property owners. And whereas the town board held a duly noticed public hearing at its regular meeting on Tuesday, August 6, 2019 at 7:30 p.m. at the Ossining Municipal Building at 16 Croton Avenue, Ossining, New York, on proposed local law number 7 of 2019 to amend Chapter 180 of the Town Code entitled Taxation to implement the solar energy system pilot law of the Town of Ossining, New York, which public hearing was duly adjourned and continued to several subsequent town board meetings and members of the public being able to attend and be heard. The public hearing was closed on October 22nd, 2019. And whereas said local law has been on the desks of the members of the town board of the Town of Ossining for at least 7 days, exclusive of Sunday, prior to the adoption of this resolution, now therefore be it resolved, the town board determines that as this is not an action that may affect the environment, and therefore no review is required pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, but to the extent such review is required, the board determines that this action does not have the potential to have any significant adverse environmental impacts, as solar development will be regulated by the solar development regulations, and this local law is simply regulating the payments that will have to be made to the town in connection with those solar developments as authorized by state law. And be it further resolved, the town board, after due deliberation, finds that it is in the best interest of the town to adopt said local law, and the town board hereby adopts local law number 7 of 2019 to amend Chapter 180 of the Town Code entitled Taxation to implement the solar energy system pilot law of the Town of Ossining, New York. And be it further resolved, the town clerk is directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting into the local law book for the Town of Ossining, to publish said minutes in a newspaper published in the town, if any, or in such newspaper published in the county in which such town may be located, having a circulation in such town, and affidavits of said publication shall be filed with the town clerk, and to file a copy of said local law with the Secretary of State of New York.
Fantastic. So do I have a motion?
Second.
So after many months of public hearings, we are excited to enact this local law to standardize pilot or payment in lieu of taxes agreements for solar developers. New York State, in order to incentivize solar development, does not require solar developers to pay any property taxes unless local municipalities enact laws to the contrary. We feel that enacting a solar pilot is a good middle ground. So get some tax revenue from these parcels while remaining competitive with developers. So with that, are there any comments or discussion? I did have one quick question, which is that we had that public referendum for locals 4, 5, and 6 that did not go through. Does this revert to local law number 4?
That was a discussion that I had with Ms. Hatch on Friday.
Okay.
So I think procedurally, the thought was you did still adopt a local law. Those were 3 local laws that this board adopted. They just only were to go into effect once the if and when the referendum passed. But I didn't think it was necessarily appropriate to just undo those local laws that had been done. So what we'll do is because they were never sent to the Secretary of State because we were waiting to see what happened with the election, I'll work with the clerk and we'll send a letter to the Secretary of State explaining that, and we'll identify it as local law number 7. And if for some reason administratively they want that to be rechanged, I'm sure we can work that out.
Okay, great.
Yeah, all those.
It's a roll
Uh,
call vote.
Oh, sorry, roll call.
Councilmember Meyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Shaw,
Aye.
Councilmember Feldman, and Supervisor Levenberg.
Aye.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So, next, resolution water easement for 593 North State Road. Whereas the town recently learned that an existing public water main crosses under the property located at 593 North State Road, tax map number 90.11-1-36, the property, between North State Road and Morningside Drive. And whereas the owner of the property and the town desire to enter into an agreement to give the town a permanent right-of-way and easement to repair, reconstruct, and maintain the water main with the right to enter upon that portion of the property where the water main is located, and now therefore be it resolved, the town board determines that pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, that this action does not have the potential, for any significant adverse environmental impacts, as the water main has long existed in that location, and the function of the agreement is to allow the town prompt access to the water main if and when a situation arises where the water main needs to be repaired, reconstructed, and or maintained. And be it further resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign the water easement agreement in a form acceptable to council to the town, and any other documents reasonably necessary to have the agreement recorded with the Westchester County Clerk's Office.
Got a motion.
So moved.
Second. So at last week's work session, we heard from Town Council Adana and engineer Dan Ciarcia, who informed us about two properties, which are these next two resolutions, with easement agreements that required a bit of housekeeping. With both of these agreements, we will maintain access to critical infrastructure across private property. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay, the next one is actually a resolution for a sewer line easement agreement for 1 Thornton Hill, just to clarify the title of Resolution N. Whereas the town recently learned that an existing public sewer line crosses under the property located at 1 Thornton Hill, tax map number 89.08-1-49.16, and whereas the owner of the property and the town desire to enter into an agreement to give the town a perpetual sewer line easement for installation, repair, and maintenance of the sewer line within the property, together with the free right of ingress and egress over and across the property for said purposes. And now therefore be it resolved, the town board determines that pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, that this action does not have the potential for any significant adverse environmental impacts, as the sewer line already exists in that location, and the function of the agreement is to allow the town prompt access to the sewer line if and when a situation arises where the sewer line needs to be repaired, reconstructed, and or maintained. And be it further resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign the sewer line easement agreement in a form acceptable to councils of the town, and any other documents reasonably necessary to have the agreement recorded with the Westchester County Clerk's Office.
Do I have a motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay, no correspondence received and filed. And under monthly reports, resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby accepts the following monthly reports for the month of October 2019. GE helicopter report, town clerk, town tax receiver, town highway department, and Dale Cemetery.
Do I have a motion? All those in favor? Aye. All right, and finally, we get to visitor recognition. If you have something to say, you got 4 minutes to say it. Please come on up, introduce yourself, and we'll give you the 4 minutes. Stanley.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Stanley Dorsonville from Senator Carlucci's office. I'm the district representative for the town of Ossining. In addition to what the supervisor has said, just as a double reminder, we are having on the 19th the senior fair from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So actually, in addition to that point, if you are a vendor, tomorrow will be the last day to send in your vendor request. We have set a hard deadline in the past, but if you're watching this now and you'd like to become a vendor for that, please send it in tomorrow. You can call our office, our Rockland office, at 845-623-3627 and speak with Brandon Holdridge. He is our events coordinator. Once again, the telephone number is 845-623-3627. Also, as a side note, one of the things that through the senator's office we are engaging in within the town is the Austin Agency Council. So it's been a great pleasure for I myself and alongside representatives from the town government, village government, and local community-based organizations and entities to sit together and work on how we can streamline the process of going from problem to solution. If you are a nonprofit organization based within the town of Austining, or you have clients that are based in the town of Austining, we are inviting you to email us. You can either email I or Hillary of the Austining Children's Center. My email address is D as in David, ORSAINV @nysenate.gov, or Hillary's email address is HILARYClarkOCC Thank you.
We're all good. All right. Fantastic. So with that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn into executive session for personnel. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I hope you'll also be able to join us next week, Tuesday, November 19th, for our work session at 16 Croton Avenue and to hear the presentation of the 2020 budget and a few other important items. Until then, please stay warm, careful for icy conditions tonight into tomorrow morning, and hope you all have a great week.